we have now from last week was the first of the 3 weeks, which are known as the Tlosa de Puranusa, of the 3 weeks about Yodim of punishment, and we have the three haftorahs, which are in that spirit. The first one is Divrei Yirmiyahu, the second one is Shimu Devar Hashem, and the third one is Chazon. That's the third Shabbos, next Shabbos. What happened somewhere in some shul in Paris, a friend of mine writes to me after Shabbos, that on Shabbos morning they all forgot that it was a different haftorah, and they read the haftorah of Parshas Pinchas. This man who asked me is a shtickle Talmud Chochem. He asked, "What should we do now?" So, should we? So I corresponded. When did they realize the mistake? So they realized the mistake only by Mincha. So they took out a chumash and they said the haftorah by Mincha, perhaps. Paul, here we have this actually is brought in poskim, this question, and this is what you have here is the Mishnah Berurah, and actually it's a quote from the Magen Avraham, as you see. The Imtor is in Siman Tov Chov Ches. Where would you find the dinim of the haftorahs? It's interesting. You would have thought it's somewhere in Reish Pei Hey, Reish Pei Vav, which talks about Shabbos morning davening. No, it's in Tov Chov Ches, the end of the dinim of Rosh Chodesh, because that's all the different changes of the calendar. So, which bring about when Pinchas is going to be within the 3 weeks or before the 3 weeks. That's in Tov Chov Ches. So he has there about the three haftorahs of the 3 weeks. The Imtor v'hifte b'Shabbos Rishon b'Parsha b'Yoyma. If on the first of the three parshas we made a mistake and the one read the parsha, the haftorah of Pinchas instead of Dirshu, so the answer is Yaftir b'Shabbos haba Divrei Yirmiyahu v'gam Shimu. So because Divrei Yirmiyahu and Shimu are both sourced in Sefer Yirmiyahu and they are near one another, the two chapters, one adjacent to the other, one after the other, and therefore this week, this Shabbos, they will have to do a double haftorah, Divrei Yirmiyahu and Shimu, because Shehem Smuchos Zoylazah, because they are next to one another. And the Mishnah Berurah quotes here the Magen Avraham b'Shem Tzemach Tzedek, not the Tzemach Tzedek as in the Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe Zaynik calls the Rebbe in Lubavitch. There was sometimes referred to Tzemach Tzedek Hakadmei. There was a Tzemach Tzedek who the Alter Rebbe also brings, who lived probably about 350 years ago, Mendel Krochmal, same name, Menachem Mendel. And so he wrote the Sefer Tzemach Tzedek, and that's where he's quoting from to say both haftorahs. Now, if we already have the page open in the Mishnah Berurah, so we have here the piece before about the inyan of the 42 journeys. We have in this week's Seder, the second part of the Seder, the second in Parshas Maaseh, we've got the 42 journeys. And we had in the Hayom Yom this week that when Matis and Maaseh are separate, which is irrelevant this year. So then when it comes to Kriyas HaTorah on Shabbos afternoon and Monday and Thursday, so the third Aliyah, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, when you read all the 42 Masoros, whereas in most shuls and most Sidurim, they will say you just read a small amount. Now, there is this Sefer Tzur HaMoir, which is early one of the Rishonim. He says not to interrupt the 42 journeys in Parshas Maaseh because they correspond to the Shem Mab, as we've discussed not too long ago. And the Honor B'choyach corresponds to the Shem Mem Beis of 42, which is the idea of whatever it is, elevating. Doesn't matter, Kabbalah, you don't interrupt the middle of the Mem Beis. So most Minhagim will say, okay, Shabbos morning, we won't interrupt the middle of the Mem Beis Masoros. When it comes to Mondays and Thursdays and people rushing off to work, etc., or on Shabbos afternoon, or the rushing for Shalosh Shudas, whatever it may be. So the most popular minig is not to do the 42 journeys on the shorter reading of Shabbos afternoon, Monday and Thursday. And here Lubavitch is unique in this, Kimat. Actually, it's also, I saw also the Munkacher Rav in the Darkei Chaim Rishonim. He mentioned he also had this minig that to do all 42 journeys, despite that it's a shorter reading. And then I found something interesting. We know that the minimum, we've gone through this perhaps recently, the minimum shiur of a short reading has to be 10 psukim. But the minhag is that the Mondays and Thursdays you read till Sheni. That's the standard minhag. That's how the Shari Ephraim writes, that on Mondays and Thursdays you go till Sheni. and so usually it's more than 10 psukim. All right, so then take a Chumash, a Parshas Masay, and you'll see that Sheni is out of the 42 Masois. So corresponding to that minhag, so you have to, then our minhag fits to the minhag Olam that you read until the end of, till Sheni of that week's Seder. So, all right, so for Mondays and Thursdays, and that's clear, you have to factor in another 3 minutes for the Masois to be read. I just want to finish off and say thank you to Reb Shneur Zalman Odds for coming forward to sponsor this year. The costs, which are, we have Baruch Hashem a shul website, and so the sponsorship will go to, and the shiurim are uploaded on the shul website. So whoever wants to sponsor, so that will go to the cost of operating the website and putting the stuff on. And since we're already talking about that, I want to say that whether it's here or any other part of the world, I'm sure every shul is incurring costs in relation to the measures for COVID or anti-COVID, whatever you want to call it, and just encourage everyone to contribute to defray the costs of their relevant shul or whatever facility to be able to keep us all safe, and wish you all a good Shabbos, and we should meet in good health. Amen. Shkoyach.